My name's Dean Blackbourn and I'm a Senior Lecturer in Counter Fraud Studies here at the Centre for Counter Fraud Studies. I'm going to introduce you to you in a few minutes a video clip that was performed of an interview with two members of the general public on their perceptions and experiences of fraud. Whilst watching, I'd appreciate it if you actually think about your own responses to the questions that I pitched to them and probably share them online with us in the discussion board. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hello Diane, hello Anne, thank you for coming along to chat to me today. What I'm interested in gathering your thoughts on are members of the public's perceptions towards fraud. So first of all, I just wanted to ask you both, what are your perceptions of fraud? What is fraud to you?
It's when somebody takes something that is not belonging to them, takes something of yours.
What might that something be?
It could be our identity, money.
Okay, good. And to you, Anne?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm quite aware of that sort of thing. So, I mean, I think identity fraud is the big thing that we're all told about, and scam emails, that type of thing.
Okay, that's interesting then. So, on that note, how many frauds between you both can you list off the top of your head?
Oh, gosh.
How many types of fraud?
Identity fraud,
Yeah.
internet fraud.
Two.
I think that's probably about it. You know, That's the two main ones that you think of, isn't it?
You
Or
do think that?
there's the fraud that they send through the letterbox, isn't it? They pretend that you've won some money.
Yeah. Or phone calls, scam phone calls.
Yeah.
So we'll go 3, 4. Any more?
God, how many are we supposed to think of? Well,
You tell me.
That's all I can think of.
I think we live in such an electronic age that we tend to always think along those lines, don't we? That it's got to be something that's happening on the big bad wolf, the internet, you know, that sort of thing, rather than it being a personal thing.
So of those 4 frauds then that you've mentioned, which one is of concern to you, Diane, most?
Internet.
Internet fraud.
Internet fraud.
And what is it with internet fraud that concerns you? In what aspect of it?
Because I think some unknown person, the other side of the world, can take your money.
Okay. And Anne?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I bank on the internet and I do trust it, but I'm very cautious. I think my children seem much more trusting than I am. I mean, they do use, you know, internet security and what have you, but I think I'm probably more paranoid about it than they are. I'm more aware of it than they are.
Okay. So, not wanting to jump too much ahead, we'll come back to that point. But if I was to hand you this list, printed off today from Action Fraud, which lists all the different types of fraud you can fall victim to.
Wow.
A to Z of fraud.
That's amazing. I suppose a lot of them overlap, don't they?
In what way?
Well, a lot of them are sort of linked to electronic.
Give me an example.
Or shopping fraud, telecommunication fraud, ticket scams, all that sort of thing. Most of that would come through the internet, wouldn't it?
Okay, shopping fraud. So you order items online and it's a bogus website, so your goods never arrive, but somebody out there has actually obtained your money.
Yeah.
Any of you shop online? Use eBay?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
You
I
don't?
do.
Okay. Are you surprised by that list?
Absolutely.
Very surprised.
It's quite advanced on your 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's double-sided as well.
Yeah.
Psychic scams. That's interesting.
Have you not heard of psychic scams?
No.
That's a big one.
Wow. I'd like to
So
know more
it's
about
such an easy one as well. How are you going to know what, you know, Joe Bloggs at the other end of the phone isn't telling you? It's just, you know, you phone up wanting a reading. with your stars red, whatever, but is it legit?
But then you've got to believe in that, haven't you?
Yeah.
So,
Or Gypsy Rose at the seaside. How many of you had your fortune told?
I have.
Did you believe it?
No.
Did you part with your money?
Yeah.
Okay, so on a more personal note then, I'll take these off and you can look at them. Can you just talk individually to me, Diane, first? What precautions do you take then to prevent fraud?
I don't shop on the internet. I try not to shop on the internet.
Wouldn't you like to shop on the internet though?
There are things that I want to buy, but I get somebody else to do it for me.
Right.
Because I'm very nervous about that.
But you have no worry about them falling victim to fraud?
I have, but they're more au fait with it than me.
Right,
So
okay.
I always think that I'm going to do something wrong.
Does that not concern you then as we get more, as the internet grows and more things are becoming available online, you have to do more things online, in your bills online, banking, shopping?
It does concern me, yeah.
And you're not a part of that, are you? Really?
I do. I've just bought my car insurance not online, over the phone, and realised then that I've given all my car details to somebody over the phone.
And when did that hit you that you'd done that?
Not until recently that I thought, oh yeah, you obviously trust that person because you're buying your insurance from them, but you don't know who that person is.
No.
And I suppose we're assuming that they're keying your card details straight into the computer, whereas in actual fact they could be writing them down and keeping them for future use, couldn't they?
Mm.
Very much so.
So I don't think I'll be doing that in future.
So then how are you going to obtain the goods then?
I think I'd have to
if you're not willing to divulge that information.
Write a check out. Post them a check.
Okay. Anything else? At home, do you have the firewall on your internet, for instance?
I'm not sure.
Do you have the security settings set accordingly on your computer?
My daughter does it for me, so hopefully I have.
Okay. Do you have your privacy settings set on your social media sites? Do you use Facebook?
I do.
And you have your privacy settings set?
I think she's set all my privacy settings. Yeah.
Okay. Do you regularly return to your privacy settings on Facebook to see that they're still in place and not being changed by Facebook themselves?
No.
Okay. Would you say that you are in need of more education on fraud and being a victim of fraud?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, we'll leave it there with you. And what about yourself? What provisions do you take?
I buy internet security. I buy Norton's every year and update it every year. And again, my kids say to me, "Oh, you can download free software," but I like to buy Norton's. I think it's a reputable name, and that just gives me peace of mind. And every time I do, I mean, I shop online quite a lot, but every time I do, you get that pop-up that says, "Would you like us to save your password for Google Chrome?"
Mm-hmm.
I always say never. I never leave my passwords online. But I've got a shredder. I shred all my stuff at home with my details on. So I think I'm quite aware, really. But
and is your shredder a confetti shredder or is it a straight line shredder?
No, it's cross. Yeah.
Confetti.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I'm really anti social media, to be honest.
Do you not feel that you're missing out on participating in anything?
In some ways, yeah, I suppose, like socially, outings and photos and that sort of thing, yeah, but I just don't want to take the risk, really.
Okay. With regards to your Norton antivirus then, so you get a pop-up that says, we have concerns about this site that you're visiting, and you have a chance to either click yes or no to continue. What's the likelihood of...
Oh, if Norton's pick up on it, then I wouldn't go on it.
You wouldn't go on it?
No, definitely not.
Good. So, have either of you in the past been a victim of fraud?
Yeah, indirectly. My husband and I have been out for the evening. In fact, we've been to a Chinese restaurant in London. We got home really late, and there was an answer phone message from our bank asking us to ring them straight away to confirm that our card was still in our possession, which we did. And we had basically funded somebody's Christmas. You know, there was Argos, Debenhams, all the major stores on our card. Within hours. And we could only assume that something had probably happened in that restaurant. When you hear all these talk about restaurants cloning cards and things, don't you?
Yeah.
So we think that's what must have happened.
Right.
Of course we were covered, so the money was all paid back to us.
Okay. And how did you feel at the time, though?
Threatened. It's like you said earlier, it was horrible to think that someone somewhere in the world had, and although it probably wasn't a personal thing, you felt as though you'd been personally, chosen to be affected, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice feeling.
Do you think that experience fueled your hesitancy in using social media and everything, or other
Probably,
things?
yeah, probably.
And did it make you more cautious, that event?
Yeah, I think one major thing that it made me very much aware of, I refused to, a lot of places used to ask you to hand over your, like in a pub for instance, they would ask you to leave your card behind the bar, and I would always refuse to do that. I think change did come about because a lot of pubs started asking people, they just used to take a zero swipe of your card and then hand you your card back rather than leave it behind the bar.
Yeah. Or they have the locker system where they give you a key
Yeah.
and your card is supposedly locked away.
Mm.
Okay. Would you feel comfortable handing your card over in a bar to reserve your meal?
No.
No. Okay. So finally then, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not concerned, 10 being extremely concerned, where would you rate yourself as worrying about falling victim to fraud in the future?
9, 10.
9, 10.
High end.
And
See,
yourself?
I would only say 7 because I feel as though I am taking steps to protect myself, but I'm not complacent enough to think that with the hackers and what have you, everything's changing and improving all the time, and I wouldn't be complacent. But I'm not. But I just feel at the moment I'm doing everything I can to protect myself as best I can.
Okay.
But I think even if you're doing everything to protect yourself, they can still get to you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm only saying 7 really, because you can't rule it out.
Do you think the government and organisations do enough?
No, not at all.
What about you, Anne? Do they do enough, I mean, as in promoting about fraud and how not to fall victim to fraud? Do you think they could do more?
Oh, I don't think so much the promoting, but I think the actual
Fighting fraud?
Yeah. I think there
They
should
need
be
to.
a lot more done, especially internet fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a big thing, isn't it? It's a big issue, and it's I'm sure it must be on their agenda, but.
And do you think it's going to get bigger?
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, it's not going to go away, is it?
No. One other question I'd like to put to you then, if you was the victim of fraud, so you found out that you'd been the victim, what would you do?
It's all according where the fraud was. If it was a card fraud, then report it to the bank. But I'd like to, I think it ought to be reported straight to the police, and that there must be a fraud department in the police.
I think I would just assume that if it was a card or whatever, I would assume that organisation would involve the police. Although I think I mean I don't know, but I think they have their own in-house fraud people, don't they, these days? Because it's such a big thing, I guess.
Okay. So if I put to you the term action fraud as an organisation that you report fraud to, have you all heard of those before?
No.
Well, can I say thank you for your contributions today, and
Okay.
it's been very much appreciated. Thank you for your time. Welcome back. I'm sure after that clip there's a number of questions that you would like to ask, or you probably had a number of thoughts that came to your own thinking on some of the questions that I pitched to the two members from the general public, which I would really value you sharing with me, or feel free to email them if you feel that you don't want to post them. The beauty of fraud is that there's just so much, it's so vast, and obviously it's a growing, some have referred to it as a growing global pandemic, that there's a lot of initiatives undertaken, there's articles coming out left, right and centre. So I would always direct students to actually keep up to date with reading around fraud. And the victimisation, persons who've experienced fraud, is a fascinating subject, how we are all affected. My two P's in the pod is really that whilst we can have similar, different frauds, we are actually, comes down to one umbrella, that being the fear of being a victim or the fear of fraud itself. KPMG's recent report that came out beginning of January this year, shows that fraud has actually grown by £1 billion. £1 billion, that's in Britain alone. So that's an extortionate cost that needs to be addressed. But how do we go about addressing fraud? That's the question. There's a greater emphasis needed to be put onto educating members of the public, and educating organisations themselves on how to protect themselves from fraud. But where do you start with educating members of the public? I think it's generally we can't tar everybody in the same brush. There's extremes, like the elderly members of society as well as the younger members of society. And I think the danger here is where people feel uncomfortable with partaking in, say, today's electronic media, social media, whatever you call, digital media. There's a vast amount of people that are detached from actually engaging with present day technology. And a lot of that is through ignorance as to not knowing how to protect themselves whilst online. And I think initiatives here at the University of Portsmouth, which we're now creating, where we can use some of our own fraud students to go out into the community to conduct workshops and bring people into the university itself, where we can educate and teach using people within Portsmouth as a case study to see how we can facilitate that education and training and awareness towards protecting themselves from fraud. Of course, that said, we can all focus, as you saw from my clip there with the two members, when we pitched the question, how many frauds do you know about? Generally, it's very few and far between, quite small numbers. When you look on the Action Fraud website, they give an estimate of about 130 types of fraud. My advice to anybody would be to consult with the Action Fraud website. Interestingly, again, with the members of the general public, it was quite aware that they did not know how to report fraud had they been victim of fraud. That has also been raised in a number of scholarly materials about where do you go, who do you go to, what's the port call first, do you go to the police, do you go to Action Fraud? So there needs to be more visibility on that front, the reporting mechanisms. Of course, there's a vast number. Well, we only know the tip of the iceberg. There'll be that dark figure of fraud that we do not know because of people not coming forward, either not being aware that they have been a victim, or the embarrassment of actually revealing that they have been. That said, in my experience, if you look at if you go to Google Scholar as the first port of call as a student, and you can search on various types, I would say consult the work of Professor Whitty, who's at Leicester University. I believe she's now moved. And along with that, Cassandra Cross, who's based in Australia, has done a wealth of studies on victimisation, fraud victimisation, and victims' experiences. And the beauty of the Google Scholar is that you can actually select what year you want to go to, and you'll see if you select 2016, 17, even 17, there's a host of materials.